Senate Bill 1189. Approved. Knowledge Chest TV. An act in institutionalizing support mechanisms on matters of student discipline and classroom management for teachers and personnel in the public school system. Our public schools shoulder the crucial role of providing education to millions of students every year. The classroom serves as a venue of formation for the children, where teachers spend their careers teaching not only knowledge but values as well. A disorganized classroom without procedures and expectations makes it difficult for our teachers to do their job. The ambiguity of permissible teacher conduct in the context of student discipline and classroom management hurts the school system. This difficulty is worsened by the fact that many teachers do not receive institutional training in the right strategies that will allow them to properly manage student behavioral troubles. The lack of licensed guidance counselors who act as support personnel and legal assistance and representation also compound the problem. Through mandating the issuance of a teacher's manual and provision of pre-service and in-service training on child behavior and psychology, effective classroom management and appropriate disciplinary techniques, the bill seeks to lay down an overdue institutionalized support mechanism for our public school teachers and personnel. In addition to the provisions of guidance and support for proper classroom management, this bill seeks to amend Republic Act 7610, commonly known as the Child Abuse Law. Insofar as any act committed by a teacher or school personnel complying with the multi-stakeholder teacher's manual shall not be deemed as child abuse. To complement this, legal assistance is provided to teachers and personnel in cases related to student discipline and classroom management. Section 1. Title: This Act shall be known as the Teacher Protection Act. Section 2. Declaration of Policy. It is the declared policy of the state to protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality education. It is likewise declared that the state has the duty to establish and maintain a complete and adequate system of public basic education geared towards the holistic development of a child. To this end, the state shall institutionalize measures to implement in all public schools clearly defined regulations for teachers on student discipline and classroom management. The state is also hereby bound to establish and maintain support system, including training on classroom management and child discipline and legal assistance for teachers and school staff who stand in direct contact with students in the course of the discharge of their duties. Section 3. This Act shall be applicable to all teaching personnel of all public school institutions, including non-teaching personnel who stand in direct contact with students in the course of the discharge of their duties. Section 4. Guidelines for teachers. The Department of Education, hereinafter the Department, is hereby tasked to issue policies and principles on student discipline and classroom management. Section 5. Act pursuant to the Teacher's Manual not deemed as child abuse. Any act committed by a teacher or school staff pursuant to the disciplinary rules and procedure issued by the Department shall not be deemed as child abuse, cruelty, exploitation as denied in Republic Act No. 7610 or the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act. Section 6. Consultation of involved sectors in the drafting of student manual. Students, parents, teachers, other school personnel, and the community. represented by their respective organizations, as well as professionals in child behavior and social work, shall each have meaningful involvement in the formulation of the guidelines and the teacher's manual. Section 8. Support personnel, the department, in coordination with the Department of Budget and Management, shall also ensure that there is a sufficient number of items for licensed guidance counselors, who will serve as support personnel to teachers and school administrators in matters of student discipline. Section 9. Other support mechanisms for student discipline and classroom management. The department shall provide such other mechanisms necessary to capacitate its teachers and other personnel. On matters regarding child behavior and psychology, classroom management techniques, positive discipline, and other related fields. These measures shall include but not limited to the conduct of periodic 20 seminars and formulation of primers and other explanatory materials. Section 10. Protection to teachers and SCOA personnel and charges related to student discipline and classroom management. In all cases related to student discipline and classroom management, including criminal and administrative charges of child abuse, the department shall extend to its teachers and other personnel the necessary protection, including but not limited to legal assistance and representation. The department shall ensure that respondents, in all stages of the disciplinary proceedings, are amply represented by the accredited union, or registered union, where there is no existing accredited union, of teachers or non-teaching employees, as the case may be. Violation of this section shall render the administrative proceedings void and all responsible persons administratively liable for gross neglect of duty. Section 11. Confidentiality of identity of parties and proceedings under this Act. No person, whether public or private and whether a party to the case or otherwise, shall publicize a case during its pendency. In no case shall the identity of complainants and respondents, or any information that may reasonably identify them, be disclosed to the public during the pendency of the proceedings. Violation of this section shall subject the person to the appropriate administrative, civil, criminal, and other liabilities. The department shall issue its guidelines for the media with regard to the handlings of cases within the contemplation of this Act. Section 12. Rules and Regulations. Within 90 days from the effective date of this Act, the department shall promulgate the manual, rules and regulations necessary to implement the provisions of this Act. Section 13. Separability Clause. If any portion or provision of this Act is held unconstitutional, the remainder of this Act or any provisions not affected thereby shall remain in force and effect. Section 14. Repealing Clause. Republic Act No. 7610 is hereby modified accordingly. Any law, presidential decree, or issuance executive order, letter of instruction, rule, or regulation inconsistent with the provisions of this Act is hereby repealed or modified accordingly. Section 15. Effectivity. This Act shall take effect after 15 days following its complete publication in the Official Gazette or a newspaper of general circulation. Approved.